notified every time I upload, and comment down below your thoughts about it. Don't forget to enjoy. Hi there.
Hey, Lana, can you see me okay?
I see you perfect. Let me just
Good.
close my phone. Hold on. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, I think. Couple things. I bought some graph paper, so I took those numbers that I'm rating daily and I'm graphing it. So, I mean, your idea about that was really genius because you can visually see you know, the momentum picking up.
Right, right.
It's much more useful than just putting numbers down on a card, which was what I was doing. So, anyway, that was encouraging.
Good. So where are you at in general?
Um, I'm kind of averaging around a 7 or 8 a day.
Excellent. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think so.
Very cool.
I mean, it goes up and down, but that's kind of the general course of it. And I do see the upper that it's moving upward. So I'm guessing it'll just it continue to move upward.
Excellent. And how are you doing physically?
Well, it kind of depends on what the doctor tells me. Sometimes it's kind of discouraging what they say to you, and that really affects my thinking.
And what do you do when they do that?
Well, I try not to replay it in my head and just try to override the image they give me with something else. Like, if she says, um, well, this week she told me I was not ready to go back to work in September. And then the next day she told me I was ready to go back to work. So I was very confused about that.
Right. And what
And
was the bottom line?
well, the bottom line was I think she was referring to September and I'm referring to right now.
I see. Okay.
So I think it was a time difference in how we perceive the time part of it. But, she also tells me that it's when my brain heals completely that my movement will return. And I really want to believe that. There's a little bit of doubt in there for me.
Okay.
And I think with that, Ilana, there's also a little bit of doubt that I can heal completely because I'm kind of not satisfied with less than, a complete healing. And
Okay.
I've been trying to tap on that each day.
Let us
And
start with the brain healing or the belief that when the brain heals, my movement will return. Okay? We're going to start
mhm,
with that. So what I
okay,
want you to do is look at the belief dial 0 to 10. What's your number? 10 means I fully believe that when my brain heals, my movement will return. 0 means no belief whatsoever. Where are you at?
an 8.
Okay, that's pretty good. Reach out and touch the dial and turn it up.
Just try to turn it.
Notice where you feel it inside and turn it up.
As usual, I feel it right in my stomach.
Okay, good. I want you to keep turning it back and back and forth until it stays at a 10. Won't turn back again.
It's not bad, but I have to tell you, as I turn it back and forth, I just have a little bit of a mild nausea with it.
That's totally fine. I've had people with much worse. By the time that they finish, it's gone.
Wow, okay. I mean, it seems to be moving okay.
Good, but I want it to get stuck at a 10. That can't go back down again. I want you to keep turning it back and back and forth until you can't turn anymore. It's stuck at the 10.
And as I do that, the nausea picks up a little bit more. I mean, I'm okay, but
It's okay. I mean, I'm telling you, I've had other clients, and they're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm so nauseous. I said, just continue doing it. It's going to go within a minute or two, and it always goes.
What is that nausea from? Is it like a resistance?
The nausea, I think, is the releasing of the things that are holding it back.
Ah, okay. That's a good thing then.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think I've got it at 10.
Okay, and how's the nausea now?
It's not really there like it was.
Okay, see? And you can't turn it back again, right? Stuck at the 10.
It doesn't want to go back.
Okay, good. So how's your belief now? Will you get your movement back when you heal, your brain heals?
Now I'd say it's more like at a 7.
Your dial's at a 7?
Oh, no, I wasn't checking the dial. Let me check the dial here. Can't seem to really get a number on it.
Start tapping. Disbelief.
Disbelief,
Or the disbelief.
disbelief.
I won't get my movement back even when my brain heals. Will my brain actually heal? Maybe that's the question. Whatever it means,
Whatever it means,
whatever it represents,
whatever it represents,
whether I believe it or not,
whether I believe it or not,
I'll be right.
I'll be right.
So why would I want to have the disbelief?
So why would I want to have the disbelief?
Might as well take on the belief. I'll be right over there. It's safe to believe
It's safe to believe
that when my brain totally heals,
the
the movement's going to come back.
movement will come back.
And I'll be fully mobile,
And I'll be fully mobile,
just like it was before.
just like it was before.
Let everything else go.
Let everything else go.
I'm safe.
I'm safe.
It's safe to be safe.
It's safe to be safe.
Grab your wrist, breathe in, blow out. Peace.
That whole concept of beliefs is really interesting and how it drives us.
Yeah. But it's the truth. If you believe it's not going to happen, it ain't going to happen. And if you believe it will happen, it will happen. So why would you choose the belief that it's not going to happen?
Well, I guess because, it's how the mind works. We're so used to having those doubts and all those things that it just kind of takes it there.
And did it serve you well till now?
Well, not so well, but it did. That's how it was.
Okay. Is it time to
So
change it?
now you're getting into the realm of faith a little bit when, about the belief part of it.
It is faith and it's not faith. It's a law of attraction. It's what you focus on grows. If you focus on it's not going to heal, that's what's going to grow. If you focus on it is going to heal, that's what's going to grow. It's simple law of attraction. Now for me, it's also faith because there's a saying within Judaism, the way that the man wants to go, God leads him. Oh, you say you want to go in the way that it's not going to heal? Fine, I'll lead you over here. You say you want to go in the way that it is going to heal? Fine, I'll lead you over there. It's your choice.
So you do see it as a choice.
Obviously, it's a choice. You get to choose. Which way do you want to go?
Well, the one that brings more pleasure and makes you happier, of course. Or
Okay,
gives you hope.
so choose that way. All right.
So how do you get so loaded down with all these beliefs? I mean, is it just life experience? It just piles them on us?
Well, that's number one. Number two, you're never taught how to change your beliefs. You're never taught that you can change your beliefs. A belief is just something that you've said over and over and over again until it became a belief. You know, if you told a 1-year-old you're never going to walk, it would probably never walk. Because think
Mm-hmm.
about how much it has to go through till it gets to the walking stage. It keeps getting up and falling, getting up and falling, getting up and falling. If it gave up, because would it ever walk? No.
So you're saying the way it works is the belief that we hold in our mind, the predominant belief is what kind of forms our reality and
Absolutely.
either attracts or does the opposite, pushes it away.
Absolutely. The only problem is that sometimes we don't even know that we have the belief because it's written down on
Exactly.
our slate and we don't know that it's written down there.
Right.
But at the same time, when I do the dial with you, okay, did you know exactly what experiences you were releasing?
That I was seeing.
No. You remember you were turning it back and back and forth and you were feeling that nausea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way that I see it in the world according to Ilana. And I've seen it happen over and over again with many people, so I believe in it. Okay? Basically, you start your dial, whatever your belief is. As you turn it up, you get stuck at a point. Okay? Let's say when you reach it at that point and you're still holding onto the dial and you feel it in your shoulder. There is some experience inside your body that's stored in your shoulder that's holding it back from changing the belief because that experience was a proof to you that this belief is wrong.
Okay, that's the connection.
Okay? And then I used to do it and I still do it sometimes. You get stuck at, let's say, at a 7, you tap it away, you spin it away, you play the color game it away. But I've realized that all those things you can do, but you can also just have the person turn it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then it releases it. The nausea that you feel is they're releasing it. Okay? And then you continue going further up. And then it gets stuck at the 8. And once again, back and forth, nausea, back and forth, nausea, till it's released. Go up to the 9, back and forth, till it gets to the 10. When you can't turn it back anymore, it means that you got rid of all the experiences that were holding you back from holding that belief. But you
Wow,
didn't
that's
know any of those experiences, did you? Some
no,
some people actually have experience rise in their mind, they remember it, and then it disappears. Most people have no idea what they're actually releasing. Does it matter that you know or not?
because it's stored in the subconscious, right?
Right? Now, using your hand to change it makes it all the more real for the unconscious because the unconscious doesn't know what's real and what's not. If you're sitting there turning this imaginary dial, it thinks it's a real dial. If you couldn't use your hands, you could still do it in your mind. It would still work, but it's one step stronger if you're doing it with your hand. Making the bridge between your hand and your body by pointing to where you feel it makes it all the more powerful.
That's a real fascinating technique to me.
Me too. Believe you me, me too. I mean, I've been working on it. I've been developing it and trying it out different ways and seeing which way works the best. And even though when you do this method where you're turning it back and forth, just about every single person I've done this with, has felt this like sickness or nausea come up. And then within a few minutes when they're done, it's all gone. And
Wow.
they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going, you have another minute or two and you're going to be totally done with it. Why would you want? I mean, I have someone who had sciatica and he was doing it and he was like, oh, I feel so sick. And I'm going, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. At the end, which took approximately 2-3 minutes, his sciatica was gone.
So do you think that that nausea is like the releasing of the belief system it's starting to disintegrate kind of?
It's the releasing of the experiences that act as the proofs to the belief system.
Hmm. Do you intend to teach this your technique eventually? Is that your one of your plans?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So the other day I was watching this video on faster EFT, and you've probably seen this. It's on a YouTube video, and it was a seminar, and these
Mm-hmm.
women, and they were just going through these actual lists of symptoms that they had had. themselves, and then had gotten rid of by using faster EFT. I mean, it was everything you could imagine, and some of them had just massive, like maybe 20 different things that they had dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
and they were gone.
I believe it totally. Because all of them are beliefs based on proofs. There's two elements to it, right? Number one, it's a belief based on a proof of an experience. Number two, it used to be a signal that came to teach you something, brought you a gift, right? And either you didn't yet get the gift, or it's an old signal that the unconscious mind doesn't yet realize you don't need anymore.
Well, so in your thinking or your belief, do you believe that all illness and sickness is related to a belief of some kind?
I do believe that there are times when God just says, I mean, I believe in God. So I believe there's time that God says, your time is up over here. Time to come back home. And then there's nothing you can do to help it. But in those cases where you can help it, I almost always believe that there's some emotional aspect to the disease. Do you ever read the book by Anita Morjani?
What's the title of it?
I don't remember.
No, because I've never heard of that author.
Okay, she's someone who had stage 4 or stage 5 cancer. She was basically, all her relatives came to say goodbye to her. She was, weighed something like 80 pounds. She was in the hospital. She had like one of those near-death experiences where she went up to wherever it is that she went up to. She spoke to her dead father. Her dead father clarified all these things for her, said you have a choice. You can either go back down and continue your life or stay over here. She chose to go back down. Her body was full of tumors, mind you, okay? Full of them. Within 3 weeks, they were all gone. Totally healed. Nothing left there.
Would you give me her name again?
Anita Morjani. Now, I might not have all the details exactly right, but that is the gist of the story. When you hear things like that, how can you doubt that it wasn't emotional? Okay, and I'm going to take it one step even further, and that's, I don't know if you ever dabbled in quantum physics, or if you ever watched the movie What the Bleep Do We Know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you remember when she's in that basketball field with the child, and as she turns around in one direction, looking the other way, you see a bunch of different bubbles, and each bubble has her in it, but in a different situation. Or not her, maybe it was a boy. I can't remember if it's a boy or it's her. The moment she looks at him, it goes down to 1. Why? Because her glasses showed her that one perspective. Didn't show any of the other perspective. The filters that she's wearing on her eyes. Not her glasses, the filters that she has. Based on her experiences in life. But there is a multitude of other possibilities around, an infinite number of possibilities. And if you manage to change your filters, you can zoom in on another possibility or another possibility, one that's much better for you. It all depends on the filters they're using. And where do those filters come from? Your experiences. But as we know, you can change your experiences. That's what we've been doing all this time. We've been changing your experiences. Whether you know what the experience is or whether you don't know what the experience is, it doesn't make a difference. We are still changing it. If we weren't changing it, you wouldn't feel the changes in your body.
And so now it's making more sense about how tapping on one thing can eventually, if you keep doing it, can have others go away, because it's kind of like they're all connected internally.
Yeah, exactly.
So you loosen one up and it loosens another one up.
Exactly.
Thank you for explaining that.
Pleasure. Okay, so where's your belief now? If you heal your brain, can you get movement back in your arm?
Oh, let's see. It's sitting at about a 5.
Okay, is that the dial?
Yeah.
You shouldn't touch it. Notice where you feel it inside. Turn it up. Notice the shifts and changes that occur inside as you do.
It doesn't really want to go, but I'm feeling energy moving inside of me anyway.
Okay, keep playing with it. Just keep playing with it until it moves. If you need to, take a screwdriver and loosen the screw a tiny bit.
Okay, I may have to. I loosened the screw and it made me a little nauseous again, so.
Okay, good. That's a good sign, in my humble opinion.
Okay, I think I can get it to stick at a 10.
Okay, and how's your belief now?
Wow. Strong. I mean, it's like it really came back.
Good. And now let's go to your brain. Okay, 10 means fully healed. Now remember when you're talking about this, sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it needs to first be seen in your mind before it can actually manifest in physicality. Okay? So don't get upset if you do it and you don't feel your brain totally healed yet at the end of the process. Okay? Because like when I was doing my money work, I first had to let go of all fears about money, and it took another bit of time before I started actually seeing the money manifest in my life. So sometimes you need to see it first in your mind, sometimes it can be immediate. It depends on the size of the thing, depends on a lot of different things. I can't predict which one it will be. I'm just telling you that you should not be feel a setback because you don't automatically feel the healing in your brain. Sometimes it takes time for the brain to catch up to where you are in terms of your belief, okay?
Okay, yeah, like there's a kind of a lag time between them.
Right, exactly. So go to your dial. Doesn't have to be, just can be. About healing your brain, or a totally healed brain. Okay, 0 means it's totally unhealed. 10 means it's totally healed. What's your number?
It's a 1.
Reach out and touch it. Notice where you feel as you touch it. And turn it up. Notice the shifts and changes occur inside as you do.
No, I was just wanting to come back in, but it's not bad.
Okay, well, we know that it's releasing stuff. It's a good sign.
Should I just kind of turn it back and forth?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only just a little nausea. I mean, I kind of feel a pressure inside of me too in a certain area of the body.
It's okay. Continue going. All it means is that's releasing some experience from that part of the body.
Okay, the dial's moving pretty well now.
Good. What do you feel happening inside of you?
Just that kind of pressure movement. Something's moving and there's a little bit of pressure inside me.
Okay, good.
This is interesting because it's different than the other times, that I've done this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I always have these things pop into my head, and I'm wondering, this is kind of for your typical person that I run into, kind of far out stuff. I mean, it would be difficult for them to comprehend it, is what I'm trying to say. So, how does this become more mainstream so people start to be more cognizant of this is how it works?
Told you, it has to come from them. I used to chase after people. I stopped. When you chase after people, it doesn't work. Not that the methods don't work. They're not willing to do it. I've had people who I chase after, who I've done a session with, who have seen the changes, and they're still not willing to continue doing the work.
So, what is their reasoning for not doing it?
They could have some secondary gain in what they're holding on to. Could be they don't really want to heal. They just want to act as if they're trying to heal, like doing the motions.
Right.
It could be that they're in a comfort zone. Even a bad place can be a comfort zone if it's what you're used to.
Yeah, and I noticed this yesterday. I've been aware of it, but one of the additional things that has happened to me is I've become very dependent on getting reassurance from other people, almost to the point where it's draining for them and for me.
Right. Right.
Never was that way before, so I want to get rid of that too because it's not a fun place to be in.
Right. When you finish with this style, we'll do the next one, which is letting go of the need for approval from others.
Okay,
And
good.
by the way, there's two ways of doing that because I told you that I did it with someone who I had been looking for approval for a long time. And I spent around 4 or 5 hours just happily saying, I don't need anyone's approval besides my own. I'm not going to get it anyway, so I might as well just give up on that. I only need my own approval. I only need my own approval. Don't need anyone's approval besides my own. And for 4 hours straight, I was tapping on it. By the time that I finished, it was gone. Didn't need their approval anymore. Okay, so you can do it like that, or you can do it
Okay,
with a dial.
okay.
There's also the spinning you can do. There's also the color game you can do. I mean, all of these techniques tend to go to the same place, right? Just
Well,
depends which way.
I find it being able to type on positive affirmations really fascinating because it takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you think about it, the dial method can also go for positive affirmations. Because if you want to, let's say, what I do every night before I go to sleep, I mean, everyone has their own control board. Before I go to sleep, I take up my control board, which is in my imagination, and I look at all the dials of things that I want. Flow of money, make sure that's on a 10. Financial independence, make sure that's a 10. Relationship, make sure that's at a 10. Relationship with my son, make sure that's at a 10. I just go through everything because throughout the day, things can happen that can bring it down. Triggers or memories or something that happened, an occurrence that happens that reminds, whatever it is. So before I go to sleep, I look through all my control board, all the things that are really important to me, and I just make sure that all the dials are in the right place. And if they're not, I do the process to get them to the right place.
So do you do that throughout the day also, kind of readjust things?
If I feel I need to, yes. If I don't, then I just at nighttime to make sure. But what are you basically doing then? When I say my flow of money is at a 10, it's like tapping in an affirmation. It's making sure there's no experiences that are in my way for getting it to a 10. And if it's not, I play with the dial until I get it there.
So you're saying manipulating the dial is actually clearing out those experiences that
Yeah,
might get in the.
yeah. Look at yourself when you're doing it. You're going in, not go, it's going inside. There's a better word that I'm looking for. It's a transderivational search inside your body. Okay? You're holding onto the dial, turning it, and you're closing your eyes, and you're feeling where you feel it inside your body. You're releasing it. Feeling where inside your body, releasing it. It's basically hypnosis. You're basically bypassing your conscious mind and going to your unconscious mind when you do it. Okay?
Okay.
It's a form of self-hypnosis. What is hypnosis? Hypnosis is bypassing the conscious mind, going to the unconscious mind. Having a narrow point of view, and that you're looking at the dial, you're looking at the feelings in your body where you need to release it.
So
Someone
you could
who's,
you could put excellent health on there too
yeah,
as one of your categories.
absolutely. You can make a dial for anything that you want. It's your control board. Why would you limit yourself?
Wow, I just think it's really incredible you kind of discovered this or created it.
It's based on something that I read in an NLP book, technique. But the technique in the NLP book is really totally inside your mind. The bridge is what I learned from one of my mentors, David Snyder. Making that bridge between the somatic bridge between the outer world and the inner world and the feeling makes it that much more powerful.
Yeah,
Now,
and Joe Dispenza really focuses on that feeling part of it, the emotional part, that's an important
right.
piece of it.
But he does a lot of it, it's all inside. It's not, how do you say, he doesn't get the physical aspect into it. I think getting the physical aspect into it, making that make-believe world into a real world for your unconscious mind, has a very powerful effect. There is another technique also which I learned from David Snyder called the gray room. And basically in this gray room, I can do it with you right now, okay? Close your eyes. Think about your intention about what you want to work on, okay? And now I want you to see yourself entering into this room. It's a dome-shaped room that's gray. In the middle of the room, there's this big fire pit with this big blue fire, but you instinctively know that this fire is not a dangerous fire. This fire that you see over there is a fire that can transform any negative thing into its positive counterpart. And on the wall around you, you see these squares. And it doesn't make a difference if these squares are made out of paper. It doesn't make a difference if these squares are made out of ceramics. Whatever material fits you, that's what they are made out of. But you notice that there's two different colors to the squares. One color represents all the positive things in your life about this thing that you want to work on. The ones that your conscious mind knows about, the ones that your unconscious mind knows about. And the other color represents all the negative things having to do with this thing that you want to work on. The things that your conscious mind knows about, the things that your unconscious mind knows about. Now what I want you to do is I want you to reach out your hand and pull off one of those squares that represents the less than positive about this thing that you want to work on. Go ahead, just pull it off. Reach out your hand. If you do it physically, you'll get more out of it.
Can I pull the square off?
Yep, pull the square off the wall. Notice where you feel it inside as you pull it off. And now take that square, mush it, smash it, crash it, break it, tear it, whatever you need to do to destroy it. Notice the shifts and changes that are occurring inside of you as you do that. And we know you got it for all the right reasons. Go ahead and throw whatever's left of it right into that fire pit.
Yeah, that really started energy moving inside of me.
Okay. And I want you to tear off of that wall all the rest of those squares with the color that represents the negative aspects, the less than positive aspects of this thing that you want to change. Go ahead, pull them all off the wall, every single one. Make sure you get them all. Some of them like to hide underneath the positive ones. Some of them like to be behind you or on top of you. So get it all. Reach out your hands and just get them all off. And as you do, notice the shifts and changes that occur inside of you. And after you get them all off, just go ahead, break them, smash them, tear them, do whatever you need to do to destroy them so there's nothing left of them what they used to be. And when you got it all, go ahead and throw it right into that fire pit.
Yeah, that really stirred up some energy.
Did you get them all yet?
I think I have just a few left. I'll go back and get them.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got them all down.
Okay, do you throw them all to the fire pit yet?
Yeah.
Now feel how that energy comes up, merges together with all those squares represent the positive things, the ones that your conscious mind knows about, the ones that your other the conscious mind knows about, creating this power net of wallpaper all around you, filling you up with that positive energy from the tip of your head to the tip of your toes and every single nook and cranny of your body. And when you got it all, say goodbye and come on out of the room.
Well, that is a very powerful technique.
It is indeed. I agree. Okay, there are lots of different techniques that are all geared to doing the same thing in different ways, but they're all good ways. And some people resonate with one way, some people resonate with another way, which is why I have a whole toolbox of ideas where if one doesn't work, I just pull out another one. If that doesn't work, I pull out another one. And if that one doesn't do the full job, I pull another one to finish the job.
You know, I keep going back and comparing it with the traditional EFT tapping where you just tap and tap and tap it to try to get to that core issue. And it just, goes on forever.
Right. See, here you don't even have to know what the core issue is. You still get it.
Yeah,
and
that's nice.
And your unconscious mind knows what it is. That's the point.
It's a much more, faster approach.
Much faster. Yeah, much faster. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's kind of fascinating that we don't have to know that specific event or something, and you
yeah.
can still figure it out.
It's amazing. Because a feeling is a memory, even if you don't know what it's about. And when you're feeling that nausea, it's just a releasing of that, whatever it is, experiences. The stuckness that you feel is the feeling that you feel. The nausea is the releasing.
And all those things have a corresponding part in the body that it seems to be located in.
Well, for each person, it's going to be different. But my take on it is like, let's say you get stuck, I don't know, 10 times and you feel it in your shoulder each time. There are 10 experiences stored over there that you have to get rid of for the specific thing that you're working on. There could be other experiences stored in there for other things, but there's at least 10 that are stored there for that.
So, a lot of mine come up in the stomach area, so that means I have a lot of things stored there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've also found that different people feel more in different places than others. It's like some people always feel it in their chest, some people always feel it in their head, some people always feel it in their stomach, some people always feel it in their arm. Some people feel it all over. But it doesn't really matter. Like, that's not the important part of it, about it. The important part about it is that they turn it and they feel the release. And the fact that every time I've done it with someone, they've gotten to the point where it's gotten to a 10 or to a 0, depending on which way the scale goes, what they're looking for, and they can't turn it back anymore, is proof to me that they've gotten to a point where all the experiences are gone. Because how come beforehand they could turn it back and now they can't? And now the thing is gone. Whatever it is they want to get rid of is gone. Or whatever they want to get is there.
So you can get to the point, ideally, where all of it's gone.
Yeah. But as I said, I check every night to make sure, because there are things during the daytime that can occur, things that people say, things that I hear on the radio, things that I read in the newspaper, things that I read on a billboard, that can maybe trigger something inside of me. And I want to make sure that I'm clean of it. So before I go to sleep, I check it to make sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. And I see the changes in my life. They weren't all of them were immediate. Not all of them were immediate. Some of them were less immediate. Some of them were more immediate. I can't predict in advance what's going to happen like this and what's going to take, a long time. I can't predict that. But it doesn't matter to me, because as I said, I've learned to enjoy the journey. And whenever something happens immediately, I'm like, wow, that was quick. So I think that the journey is an important part here.
Well, and you seem to be pretty happy with your life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's always things I want to improve, no doubt about that, but I'm pretty happy. Yeah, thank God. All right,
And
so,
your
yeah,
religion fits into this at some point. I know you said before this isn't really, and I get that it's not spiritual and it's not religious, but somehow the framework of your religion fits around this.
absolutely. And I wouldn't do it if I thought it didn't fit into it. You know, people can take it to other places, but you don't have to take it to other places. Okay, your dial, your belief that you can't go back to work until your arm's working. 0 to 10. 0 means can't do anything till my arm starts working. 10 means I can do anything, even if my arm's not working.
It's at a 3.
Reach out and touch it. Notice how you feel as you touch it. Turn it up. Notice the shift and changes occur inside as you turn it up. Keep turning it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until it gets up to a 10 and it's stuck there. You can't move it away from there.
Yeah, there's definitely some energy with this. Okay, I can get it to a 10, but it doesn't want to stay there.
Okay, keep doing it. Back and forth until it stays at the 10 and can't move back.
It doesn't want to go back to the 3 now. It
Good.
wants to stay at 10.
Is it stuck at a 10 now?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, and what's your belief now?
That one's pretty much gone.
Which is you now believe that you can do things even if your arm's not yet working.
Yes, I do.
Good. That was easy.
Wow. Easier than I thought. I mean, that's been a big one that's been hanging on me.
And look how long it took you to get rid of it. A minute and a half?
Yeah, about that.
Pretty easy, huh?
And when I was moving that dial, there was a lot of energy moving on inside my body, too. I could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is really amazing to me.
It's amazing to me, too.
I mean, even after all this time, you get surprised, don't you?
Every time. Every time. And what I'm trying to do now to see if it works is if you can do it surrogately.
Oh,
Stepping into someone else's body and turning their dials.
well, if regular EFT works that way, I don't know why this wouldn't.
Exactly. Exactly. But I want to do it in a way that people don't know that I'm doing it so that I can then see if the changes actually occurred or not.
So, do you feel like you'd need their permission for that?
I think that with adults you probably would. With children, not necessarily.
You know, you might really be onto something with that. That's a really unique idea and use for this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, you would just be adjusting the dials for them if you did it surrogate.
Yeah, and obviously it's something you have to do in a way that's ethical, meaning you're doing it for their good.
Right.
Now, my take is that If you're doing it for the bad, it won't work anyway, because the unconscious mind won't do anything that it feels or deems as harmful to the person.
It's kind of like there's a safety feature with it.
Exactly. So my personal opinion is that even if I would try doing something that would be harmful to somebody else, it wouldn't work. Don't forget, if you like this video, leave a like down below, subscribe to my channel, or subscribe to my newsletter. The address is right down below over there. Have a great week.